Dipped strawberries is probably one of the easiest things you can do with chocolate and fruit. Delivering a show-stopping feature for your dessert table or an unbelievable gift to give, it's worth a little extra time to learn the basics and to really turn on the creativity. First, let's talk about ingredients. Real chocolate versus white candy coating that is often used even by fine restaurants. You can tell it from a mile away. Look for the bright, super white dipping compound coating versus creamy, buttery colored real white chocolate that requires tempering. The taste difference, well, there's really no comparison. So just for the record, in this recipe and throughout the entire gourmet candy making class, we'll always be talking about the honest to goodness real white chocolate that requires tempering. In this lesson, we'll be doing a marbleized dipping method, a simple two-tone dip, and a piece de resistance, the tuxedo strawberry. The tools you're going to need are cookie or baker's tray lined with parchment or wax paper, 1 pound of each chocolate flavor that you want to use, a small dipping bowl for each flavor, and plump, hand-selected hero strawberries. The quantity's up to you. An artist brush for the button detail, and a large cupcake paper cups for holding your final product. We have our tempered chocolate here. I'm using dark chocolate and white chocolate. I've done my test. It's all perfect. Now notice I'm using small bowls. The reason that I do that is because once I've started dipping my fruits in here, the chocolate will basically be ruined. We won't be able to use it for much of anything else. So I don't want to contaminate a pound of chocolate. I have probably 6 or 8 ounces here and maybe 8 ounces of the white chocolate. So these will be used for all of my dipping today. You'll notice right here I've picked about 12 absolutely delicious berries. For dipping, you want the hero berries, which are big, plump, super fresh. We really want them to make a statement, so the bigger the better. And I've washed them, but you'll notice that there's no water anywhere. They're very dry, but they're still incredibly fresh. I actually just bought them today. So I'm going to take my berry, hold it here, and just gently put it in the chocolate, move it around. You can see the chocolate is ultra in temper. It's almost a little stiff. And I prefer to leave a little bit of the red showing at the top. We'll put that there. Quickly grab another berry, and I find the part that I like, that I think is the prettiest. That will be my top. And you'll notice on the back, I just drag it across the edge of the bowl so that I relieve it of just a little bit of the puddling chocolate. It will still have a nice little foot when it's finished so that it will sit nicely on your table. And let's pick another one. Look how beautiful this one is. It has a nice fluffy green stem. Again, I'm going to show a little bit of the red berry. And we'll do 2 more in dark, and then we'll move to the white. Now, when I said that I was dedicating these bowls of chocolate to the berries, strawberries have little seeds in them, so it's very possible that in dipping, some of the seeds of the berries will fall off into the chocolate. I certainly wouldn't want that in any batch that I was going to use for coating my truffles or other nice bonbons that I might be making. Okay, there's my 5. Now let's do a couple of beautiful white ones. I'll just swap the chocolate. Once again, I've pre-tested my chocolate. It's pure chocolate, perfectly in temper, and ready to go. The white chocolate is so beautiful. Usually when you see strawberries on a buffet table, here's a monster, check this out. Usually when you see strawberries on a buffet table, they're a two-tone. So we'll be showing you how to do that in the next step. But the first step is the first coat. That's your base coat. Once again, I drag it across the edge of the bowl just a little bit. I find the prettiest side. These are our dramatic hero centerpieces. They're huge. They probably weigh, when they're all finished, they probably weigh 2.5 ounces with the fruit and the chocolate. So there are berries. We're going to put them in the refrigerator, let them firm up, and get ready for our next type of fruit, which will be raspberries and then blackberries. We have our strawberries. They've been in the refrigerator a bit. Their shells are nice and hard. We're going to give them a little tuxedo coat, make them extra formal for our buffet table. I'm going to start with the dark chocolate ones. I'll lift them off the parchment paper, and I'm going to dip them at an angle just to give them a little round coat. And then I'll take them on this side. And we have a little V. We'll put that there. And then we'll dip another one on the right. And then on the left. And it's nice if each one is just a little different. This is all done by hand. Your gourmet chocolates are all handmade, so you can't expect them to be exactly the same. So on the left and on the right, I'm going to give the left a little more coat. So it really is basically a solid chocolate base, and then we come back and we add the white chocolate detail, which is nothing more than a left dip and a right dip. Super easy. And we'll do one more. And now we'll take our little candy making paintbrush. Remember to have your own set of paintbrushes just for your confections. And we're going to add little buttons. Just a little dab of chocolate. 3 is good. Oops, got a little wiggle on there. Not to worry, remember, these are handmade chocolates. Now if you want to get tremendously detailed, you could make smaller buttons, you could make more buttons, but you definitely get the idea. And when these are on your brunch buffet table or dinner buffet table, I guarantee you they won't be around long enough for anybody to nitpick whether you have 3 buttons or 2 buttons, whatever. Okay, now we're going to take our white strawberries and do the same thing. Actually, I'm going to save this one and just show you a standard dip. If you don't want to go to all the trouble of doing the tuxedo, this is something I'm sure you've seen many times. It's just a straight white with the dark chocolate dip. But we'll do one lapel and then the other. This is kind of cool because it actually looks like the white shirt underneath. One lapel and then the other. I'm dragging it on the edge of the bowl just to get a little bit of the excess chocolate off so that we don't end up with this big foot or this big puddle of chocolate at the bottom. See how easy that is? Okay, and I'm actually just going to wipe off the white chocolate and use the same brush to make my little buttons. Whoops, that doesn't need buttons. And this one's so tiny, it's just going to get two. Now this is kind of fun. You can actually decorate this a little bit more if you want by just drizzling a little more chocolate on it. You can either use your fingers or you can use your brush. Give it a little Jackson Pollock flair. So there you have your tuxedo truffles for your brunch or dinner buffet table. Elegant. In a little while after they're firm, we'll put them in little dessert cups and they will be gorgeous. Dipping fresh berries in chocolate creates an amazing, delicious taste experience. Raspberries and blackberries are probably the most delicate fruits you'll ever use, and although there are no rules, there are a few things to keep in mind. Berries are super perishable and should be served right away, so buy the freshest fruits possible and prepare them the morning of your party or no sooner than the day before. When selecting berries, look for big, plump, firm fruits that aren't weeping or look a little soggy. Overripe is not a good thing in this case. And remember, water and chocolate don't mix. To clean your berries, rinse under cold water and roll out onto an absorbent bed of paper towels. Roll around just a little bit, pat gently, and then let them sit for 20 minutes while you temper your chocolate. The tools and the ingredients you'll need are about 3 berries per serving, that's an estimate, a cookie sheet or baker's tray lined with parchment or wax paper, a pound of tempered chocolate for each flavor you're going to use, reference the tempering lesson number 2, a small spoon or mini ladle for drizzling the tempered chocolate on your berries, and number 6 or 5A candy cups to hold your fruit treats. The level of difficulty is very easy. The approximate preparation time is about an hour. Raspberries and blackberries are probably the most delicate fruit you'll be able to use. They are decadent, delicious, elegant. When selecting them in the store or at your farmer's market, what you want to look for are berries that are fresh, big, and plump, that aren't beginning to weep like that. These are monster blackberries. They're beautiful. And then as far as raspberries, there's a great one. Again, what you're looking for is a nice size, super fresh, not oozing or weeping anywhere. This is another one. Just put those right there for the camera. Now before we use them in our recipe, obviously we need to wash our berries. And washing raspberries and blackberries is a little tricky because you'll submerge them in water, which means there'll be water in all these crevices. So the next step you have to take is pat them dry, let them sit for a few minutes on a paper towel. When you're dipping these fruits, it's basically impossible to completely dip this fruit in the chocolate. You actually could, but I think it would begin to decompose. So a method that I use that I think is actually beautiful because it still shows the berry is I will put my berries in a little candy cup. First step that we need to do though is put a little dollop of chocolate in the base of your candy cup. So that's the foot. I'll do another one. A little dollop. Whoops. Again, that's the base or the foot for your berries. And then we can just stick one, this big pudgy one there. We'll do another one right there. Now already that's pretty beautiful, right? But then what I'll do is I'll take some chocolate and I'll actually drizzle it over the berry. See if we can do this so the camera can see. Drizzle this over the berry. The nice thing is you're going to have a nice amount of chocolate, but you'll actually still be able to see that there's a berry inside, which I really love. Now let's move on to the raspberries. Once again, we'll do a little dollop in the bottom of our cup, which is a nice little nesting place for the berry. And then this one, I'm actually going to put 3 berries, and they'll rise above the cup, which is beautiful. And we'll take our tempered chocolate once again, and I'm just going to put some nice little drizzles. And if you want to get super fancy, you could actually use a dual flavor. You could use dark chocolate and white chocolate. A couple more. Once again, I'm hand picking these berries so that I know they'll be beautiful tonight for my party or tomorrow afternoon for my lunch. Put a little dollop in the bottom. You can see how our white chocolate is super intemperate. It's getting a little stiff again. This time we'll just poke that in there. Do another one. Do another one. And once again, we'll drizzle with the white chocolate. Now these really are designed to be one bite. Your guest will lift the chocolate out of the paper cup and pop it in their mouths, and it will be just a delicious fresh burst of juicy fruit and tasty chocolate. The Gourmet Candy Maker would like to give you a gift, a complete video series on the most frequently asked questions about gourmet candy making. Go to www.gourmetcandymaker.com and download your series absolutely free.